My name is Natalie Prez, and I have an interview with the main man of the band The Killing Lights on May 20th, 2014. Can you introduce yourself, tell me what you do in the band, and how long has the band been together?
This is Michael Vampire, and I'm the lead singer of the band called The Killing Lights out of Los Angeles, California. And it's a new project, actually. So I'd say the band's been together now maybe 6 months, maybe less.
You guys went through a number of member changes as your previous band. Do you see this lineup to be the one, or who knows, with time, things could change again?
Right now it's looking really awesome. Everyone in the band is really stoked about what we're doing, the music we're making, and, everyone's pretty level-headed. So, right now it's perfect. Of course, you live and you die and you don't know when that's going to happen. So I can't really tell you the answer to that, but it looks like everything is going to be really solid for a long time. So.
The Killing Lights style is very unique and inspiring. Where do you get your influences from?
Well, for this record, it's kind of diverse. We started off doing one thing, and we kind of added a plethora of other things. We didn't want to limit ourselves to one style of music on this EP. So, we have our influences are anywhere from rock, metal, pop. Maybe a tad bit of indie in there, but we just keep it open. We don't really reference any bands or do anything like that. We all have our own little inspirations, but they don't really pop their head in so hard where you're like, oh, that's bad. So we try to keep it open.
Has your vision for the music ever been impacted by time?
I have OCD, and I'm sometimes scatterbrained. I do a lot of things at once, and I multitask a lot of things, and different ideas usually pop in my head every day, every second. So yeah, there's never been a real clear vision since day one, with Vampires at least, because there was so much confusion with signing so early, and us not having a stable lineup and all that fun stuff. This band actually has a clear vision. We've been testing demos for the last, I want to say, year and a half, to try to figure out, what we wanted to do before we came out with something. And that's why it's taking so long to come out with an EP. And we're stoked to finally have a solidified, song lineup on this EP. That I woke up this morning going, because we just finished pre-production, going, oh my God, finally we get to actually start recording something for everyone to hear. So I think now the vision is clear. Back then I was a little confused.
Do you see a theme or a mood that you're trying to capture while writing songs and the music that goes with it?
Definitely. The Vampire stuff was very revenge-oriented. I was very angry at certain relationships and people and things that I got myself involved into. So that was kind of my outlet to get that out. This new vision for The Killing Lights is quite different, although, I tried to make everything positive, and it ended up turning its cheek a little bit to get some more of my anger out. I thought I was through with it, but I'm not. So I have a lot of positive messages and a lot of triumph type scenarios. We got into really weird situations, label-wise and management-wise, and all sorts of things with the past lineup, and a lot of things really hurt me emotionally. Best friends I thought were best friends were not, and people said a lot of things to us that were going to happen that did not. So, this record is basically about us triumphing through all the bullshit that we put up with and coming out with something that, we think our fans will love and that we would love to listen to ourselves. So that's been the hardest thing, is going, okay, we know what we love. If I had my 100% on everything, I'm a child of the 90s, so I had to be careful of not going that far back on everything. We wanted also to please our fans and give them what they want to hear as well. as you know, at the same time being true to ourselves, to what we wanted to create. So I definitely think we had an amazing ratio of both those worlds on this record coming up.
You mentioned, record label changes and all that stuff. So does that mean you're no longer with Century Media and Hollywood Waste?
We had parted ways with Hollywood Waste a long, long while ago. Hollywood Waste was an imprint of Century Media that we were supposed to kind of masthead at the time for our first record release, Sung Goodbye as Vampires. And I had a really good friend of mine, Kyle Core, who ran that. He's still a really good friend of mine, and I he's doing great over at Fearless Records. But I just think that it was a little ahead of its time for Hollywood Waste. But as far as Century Media, they've been great to us in the past. I mean, it's been a decent relationship, but sometimes people need to take big risks of trust with their artists, and we just felt that we needed more of that. We needed more confidence. We needed more support, financially, morally, musically. We needed something else, and that's why we decided to turn in our letter and say that we would not like to continue on. Century Media wanted to pick up the option for Vampires, and when we changed it to The Killing Lights, we decided not to turn in the demos to the label. And we did this all respectfully on a friendship basis. There was no hard feelings all around. We just thought it was time to move on. And I mean, there's been rumors that we have been dropped in Century Media. That is definitely not true. This was definitely our decision, and we stand by that.
I read on your Facebook page that you had mentioned that you had written not one, but 3 different albums, but all of those got, cut off. So why did they get cut? And will we be seeing any of the material at all, or just everything is in the trash can now?
Well, originally, we were writing on tour in our bus. Me and DJ were writing the next Vampires record, which we basically ended up completing and then hating. And then we went on tour with that band called Orgy, and we were doing the same thing. So we started writing more songs for another record, which we basically completed. And then we decided to change the band, do a new project. So we had like 50 demo songs sitting in the back burner. Really great songs, and I definitely think along the lines of if the band, was still going, if Vampires was still going, I think the fans would really enjoy it. I just don't think, it was a time for that record, or it was a time for Vampires Everywhere. I think we were kind of lost a little bit on how we wanted to do it, and we didn't have a solidified lineup, and me and DJ were basically the only last remaining members, me being the only original. So I thought it was time, since me and DJ have a great writing relationship, that we wanted to do something else. The Killing Lights was born from that. But as far as hearing those demos, time will tell. Who knows? I really don't know. With all the bands coming together, reuniting and all that fun stuff, who knows what will be in the future, but as of right now, probably not.
I've been reading that you mentioned of being involved in a near-fatal car accident. So what got to me was, why didn't you start this band as The Killing Lights instead of starting it off as Vampires?
That's a good question. See, initially, the whole vampire theme came from the idea of immortality. And by immortality, I meant I just went through a very tragic car accident, and I survived. And the doctors had told me I must have the angel on my shoulder, or I must be invincible. So, I mean, that's quote for quote, that's what came out of the doctor's mouth. So I got, I've always been fascinated with vampires and the culture and the Lost Boys type feel. And I thought, how cool would it be if I actually took my influence in that and made a band? It didn't occur to me at the time, even though people battled me over it, that the name Vampires Everywhere would be looked at as, a controversial name. Because I kind of, bands like Vampire Weekend and stuff like that. And there's a lot of weird fucking band names out there, like Papa Roach and stuff. You're not thinking the band is a bunch of roaches. You know what I mean? Or, they're all potheads. Okay, so to me, it was a name. And it represented immortality and something cool and a nice theme. And I was going through a heavy, dark phase in my life. So they kind of coincided with each other, and it didn't represent my accident. But people being closed-minded and stubborn and some jealous kind of attacked me for being, oh, you're this and you're that. And then I had to defend myself when the fact was, yes, I am a little out of my mind. I do think I am a living vampire at the time. And it was, for me, it was more of a lifestyle than the mythology behind it all. But explain that to a closed-minded person was like trying to, explain, I can't. I don't even have a metaphor for you. It's just like something smells good. You know it smells good, but they're arguing the fact that it does. It was a very, very long road, and our managers and labels and all that that we were involved with, they didn't get it either. So that's what for me. That's what made it cool. You know what I mean? That's what made it. Oh well, this is for our fans. This isn't for 45-year-old men that are trying to figure this out. So, the Killing Lights is my homage. It's basically a homage to the accident because, before I found out it was an AFI name, it was more of it's the last thing I saw before I got hit by the car. And now, for people that, for the layman, it's obvious now. Unless everyone starts thinking we're a bunch of light bulbs and we're going to glow on stage. I don't know what the next step is for ignorant people, but I definitely think this is a clear-cut path to being a band rather than some sort of gimmick to people. So,
when you announced this name change, you had mentioned in another interview of recording a debut record, but things have changed and now it's becoming a debut EP. So why did the change happen?
We feel an EP will represent what we're trying to achieve. I can't tell you how many songs will be on it. It's an unorthodox amount of songs for an EP, but it is an EP. An LP, we just felt like, it wasn't time for that. It would take too long for us to do that. We were very tedious on how we record, and putting out 10 to 12 songs is just a lot to do without getting on the road first, showing people what we are, showing them the brand, showing that I'm not dead. A lot of people are starting to figure it out now. It took a while, but when the band's numbers on social media and everything have been starting to really go up a lot. And we've been starting to work our networks a lot, and I think that the EP will solidify the fact that, we're not a metal band, a pop band, a grunge band, whatever. We're all of these things in one, and this record is going to show that. So
you released, obviously, 2 demos, Don't Turn Around and Waste My Time, but you mentioned that those will not be on this release. Why did you decide to do this, or will you re-release them later?
Well, Don't Turn Around was the first thing that we basically ever recorded as the Killing Lights, and we had held on to it. And at the time, we were still associated with Century Media, and they wanted something out to show everybody what we were doing. It was very premature to put that out. It's like if you were to get together with your friend and come up with one idea about what you want to be when you grow up, and you take that idea and you show the world, and then you change your mind like a day later. So it was kind of that way, premature as usual, and the people we were working with liked to do premature type shit, where, oh yeah, great idea, put it out, instead of us sitting on it for a minute. So, but in all intents and purposes, we do like Don't Turn Around, but it's not going to be in the record. Waste My Time will actually be on this record in one shape or another. We're redoing a couple of parts on it, but it'll be on the record. We're not that insane. So we were shooting the music video for that song, but we had decided that instead of putting out a more rock and roll type track, we want to put out a more heavy metal track first, because I'm kind of angry and I kind of want to show everybody that, I still have a lot to say right now before we started, getting really involved with rock radio and that type of thing. So I want to put out something heavier first. So I think you guys will like it.
Where are you in the recording process for this EP?
We actually just finished pre-production yesterday. So today DJ is starting to lay down the musical tracks. So he'll start with bass, and then he'll move over to guitar, the programming, and the rest of the bit. So, and then I'll be doing my vocals. But I think we're pretty sure we solidified a dude that's going to be mixing the record, and he's done a couple of our friends, and I'll be announcing that shortly. But we're in the process right now of just tracking. Once the tracking is done, we'll be mixing and mastering it. So.
How has the vibe in the studio been going?
At first, we were very confused, being pulled in a lot of different directions. And me and DJ were very, at each other's throats. And then we had an epiphany, and we sat down and we go, this is what we need to do, and this is what we want to do. And we're pushing too hard to try to make something that, we're not sure what the direction is. And once we figured out our direction, it's been smooth sailing. I mean, we work really well together, and we take criticism very well together. And it's a very awkward relationship between two dudes that write and produce their own record. You don't have that third person in there who's a neutral going, no, this is what you should do. Mm-hmm. And we don't have that. So you can imagine what me and him were going through, locked in a studio together, figuring it all out. But it ended up being really copacetic, and we're still best friends out of it, so that's good.
When did you start writing for this EP?
Well, we've taken bits and pieces from stuff we've been working on for the last 6 months, so I'd say about 6 months we've been writing, trying to figure stuff out.
Where are you recording it?
Currently we're recording it at my home studio, which is in Hollywood, California. And then we'll be sending all the tracks over to be mixed and mastered in, I think, North Hollywood.
Are you using any new instrumentation that you've never used before?
Yes. I'm singing a whole lot. If you want to say that's instrumentation. It's very melodic. Even with the metal songs, it's, I have a very big affinity with, I love filter vocals, regular vocals, all sorts of stuff. We're trying a lot of different things, and I think the fans have been pushing me in a direction to be more melodic, and it's kind of, dawned on me that that's probably a good idea. It's something that people want to do. They want to sing along to your music. And screaming along is fine, and we'll have that, but it's still, along with that, there needs to be melody. And DJ is still doing the programming. It's not overly programmed, but it's programming. A lot of that cool stuff going on in there. And she's actually, DJ's doing a lot more guitar work on this record. So I think, it's a rounded record. I think everyone's going to be very, very surprised that this came from us. And we're going to be stoked on it because we get to play these songs live and we get to like them. And that's going to be a very big deal for sure.
Have you picked out a title? And you mentioned earlier how many songs will be on it.
Yes, we're keeping those both under wraps right now, but I'll be announcing them shortly. Does
the title have a story, or does this EP have a concept to go with it, or nothing like that?
No concept. The story is basically, just triumph through, more perseverance, determination. Don't let somebody take you down, sort of vibe to the whole record. It's not one of those records where my fist is in there and I'm going, oh, all you misfits, I'm your king and I'm going to tell you how to pipe your way out of your current horrible situation. It's not like that. It's currently like, this is how I failed. And this is, and please, if you listen to this, don't do the same thing. Sort of vibe throughout the whole record. So
on this release, you ended up having quite a few producers. You yourself, DJ Black, and Mark and Scott, why did you want so many people producing this release?
Well, at first we were going to use MJ and iRock because currently my girlfriend Dorothy is recording with them. They're doing a great job with their record. They're just very preoccupied with making her debut record, and we needed a lot of attention. And we thought it was more appropriate for me and DJ to sit down and work our magic on this because no one's heard it yet. You know, it's our first kind of record. We were true to ourselves, recording it ourselves. I think every band, you know, should have one of those records before things start getting crazy.
And you just mentioned your girlfriend, Dorothy, and you mentioned that she was going to be another producer for vocals and a songwriter and all that. So how does she fit into this release? What did she, you know, bring to the table?
Well, I mean, again, it's one of those scenarios, too, where, you know, she's doing her debut record and she's pretty much tied up with that. We didn't know how much work was going to, you know, we didn't know the workload that this took. And she just got preoccupied with her stuff. I mean, more or less. I mean, she's doing a lot of tracks and she has a lot of stuff she does. So she says what's cool and what's not cool. I mean, if that's any consolation, but it is. It's not what we thought. It's basically just me and DJ doing everything ourselves. Again, driving ourselves insane, which is good.
Are there going to be any surprises or collaborations on this release?
I have talked to 2 different people about collabs, and they're both very excited to do it. I don't know the logistics on that yet. I don't know if that is something we're going to pursue or not pursue, or if the time allows them to be here to do it. Again, it's an EP, and the only reason I would have them on the record is because either they had me on the record and they're friends of mine, or I really enjoy what they could bring to the record. You know, a lot of people are into the whole name-dropping thing. I need this person on my record to make an impact. And yeah, I mean, that is possible, but I've seen a lot of collaborations with a lot of big artists, and it just turns to shit. I mean, the thing that we've learned, especially myself doing this so long, is you need to do what you do and believe in what you do and put it out there and not worry about what everyone else is doing and how much impact they're making. Because the minute you do that, you're going to drive yourself absolutely insane. I mean, all of my friends are on Warped Tour this year. You know, I would love to be on Warped Tour with them this year, but, you know, we couldn't do that. We don't have a record. We changed our band name. We have a lot of, you know, certain scenarios going on which didn't allow that to happen. So it's one of those things where I'm so happy and ecstatic for my friends that are on the tour and doing their thing and making success, making great music. So it's a great feeling for me because I'm not a jealous person. I enjoy seeing people succeed. So, you know, time will tell on the collaborations. Time will tell whether they have the time to even come here and do it. Again, it's a state barrier. You know, one person would be here and one person would be there, and it's just getting them here to do it. As well. So I'll just keep it at, I guess you'll be surprised. You
mentioned earlier that the next step is going to be mixing and mastering. So how do you think that will go down?
It'll go great. We've definitely researched we wanted to do it. We didn't want to go on a gigantic level or budget for that. A lot of bands put hundreds of thousands of dollars into their record hoping that, you know, the money is going to sell the record for them, you know, and they try to get the biggest producer, the biggest this, the biggest that. And yeah, that's a cool option if you have a label forking out a ton of money, which we do not. So we're kind of doing this for the fans, you know what I mean? We're kind of doing this to get our name out there and show everybody what we're doing rather than glorifying the king right now. So it's not in the cards for us to go drop $100,000 on an amazing producer that sit there and tear apart our record and tell us it's cool. It just made more sense for us to go, hey, we know it's cool, and we'll just get a really dope guy to mix it. So I think it'll all go well. I mean, right now it is. So
when can we expect it to be released? That's
a great question. I would just say after summer. we just thought, let the festival circuit go through, let Warped and Mayhem and all the other great festivals go through. Let's not get lost in the hoopla of everything that's going on right now, and plus we won't be done with this record until August anyway. So, and then we're going to have to set it up for release. So, as of right now, we don't have a date, but I'm sure we'll release it soon enough.
Some bands who have done the name changes and style changes, the whole 360 deal, have gone as far as never playing former material ever again. Would you say that's going to be the same for you? No more Vampires Everywhere material in your sets for the future?
Well, I mean, if this was a name change, I'd say, yeah, we probably would play some stuff. But it's a completely new entity. It would make no sense for the dude that was, the singer of Fun, who was in an emo band before that, to sing his older songs in Fun. I mean, it's a completely different entity. We're a completely different entity. We're not like Vampires Everywhere name change. That's not it. I'm not going to come out there and rip spandex and covered in paint. That's not going to be me for this record. So playing the songs where that would be the thing to do just doesn't make sense. It's just a mind fuck, and it's not fair to our fans because I'm not out there to confuse anybody. That's why I try to make this scenario as cool as possible without releasing so much info to confuse people. I mean, people are just finding out, going, "Oh, I love Vampires Everywhere." It's like, hey, we're a different entity now. So, I mean, most people don't understand that it's not a name change; it's a whole new thing. So, the answer to that would probably be no.
Would you say that all previous Vampires stuff, merchandise, albums would be considered rare due to the name change and fans should go stock up? I've talked to bands that said, yeah, under that name, all of that shit is gone now, so if you have it, you better hold on to it because it's not coming back. I'm like, okay, I'm going to hold on to it now.
Well, yeah. I mean, what I did is I started another Twitter called The Real VE for fans that are diehard. And you know what? It's kind of this. If there is that many Vampires Everywhere fans that are into it and want the merch and want all that cool stuff, make it apparent on Twitter. If the Twitter's blowing up and there's millions of people on it, I'll put some merch up for people to buy. And it would be rare. I mean, I'm not reproducing merch. I have tour merch that we still have for Vampires from Warped and whatever that I would love to give fans, I'd love to get it out there, but if there's no demand for it right now, I think it's just not the right time to do it. So consider whatever you got rare, for sure. All the fans that got tattoos and stuff like that, I mean, there's no point, being upset about that. It's a time in your life, and hopefully your next tattoo will be a TKL tattoo, so, you know what I mean? Yeah.
And I heard that DJ Black has his own record company, Dark Kingdom. So since you guys are label-less, will you guys be releasing this under his label or just doing the whole DIY approach?
Well, I mean, it's both our labels. I actually own Dark Kingdom.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm the owner and CEO of Dark Kingdom. DJ is co-owner, and he records the material for the artist. We've considered it, but no, it's not an option for us right now. I'd like to keep both entities separate. It starts getting very confusing. I'm not saying in the future something will change, but I think right now it's better that the Killing Lights go out by themselves and do their own thing. The Dark Kingdom has signed 2 new artists, and we will be releasing that shortly, but I can't really tell you more than that.
Besides this project, obviously there's mention of another one called Dirt. What can you tell me about that?
Well, ever since Warped Tour, me and Alex from Chelsea Grin, we're always fucking around with the name. Like, Alex came up with the name Dirt, it's like for our new metal project, if that ever happens, over drinks or whatever. And one day I texted him, like, hey, dude, we're going to do this Dirt shit or what? And he's like, yeah, hell yeah. So me and DJ wrote a song real quick, showed him, he loved it, and started the Twitter. He's got a new record, he's got Warped Tour, he's got a lot on his plate, so we're going to wait a little bit until he has some free time, then we'll probably pursue it more. But right now we're just trying to get the fans involved and doing it very slow. So that's what it is.
Would you ever consider bringing Dirt and the Killing Lights together for a show or a tour, or would that be too much?
It's kind of incestuous. You know, I'm a big believer in having to play once, so probably not. You don't want to confuse people again, and, you know, to be honest with you, fans don't deserve to be confused anymore. There's so much crazy shit going on right now with different bands reuniting and all this and all that it's very, very fucking confusing. And I just think that it's easier to keep things separate until things need to be together.
What are your plans for upcoming shows and touring for this year? Do you have anything or nothing yet?
Yeah, I mean, we are a big believer right now that we want to do things ourselves as far as getting out there. So we are going to probably plan something for around October time, possibly a headlining tour. In October, nothing is solidified yet, of course, but that's what we're looking at. It makes sense. We'll have a new EP. Unless something comes along that makes sense. Right now, we're heading out probably in October, so you can look forward to that. We are finishing up our music video for one of our harder songs. About June 14th, we're finishing that, and then probably less than a month later, you'll be seeing that out and about. So, I mean, we're going to start making moves. It's been too long. We're all excited and antsy. So there's going to be a lot going on from our band.
What should the labels and magazines and promoters and all those guys know about you? Why should they be interested in checking you out?
Well, I mean, in all honesty, we're bringing a fresh new vibe to music. We feel like we're bringing something that, you know, is very close to our heart out into the music scene, and it's not generalized on one thing. You know what I mean? We have a very rounded record. And for me, for people that know me and know my reputation, whether it's good or bad, how you know me, this is the first time I've ever put myself out there vocally, lyrically. DJ's first time actually showing what he could do on the guitar. It's not one of these things where like, you know, we better hold back. You know, we better do this, we better do that. We were just like, let's just put ourselves out there and make the best music we can make for this EP. So I think everyone should be interested because this is a brand new thing from me, and it's not something that I've ever done.
Where can we listen to your band, and where can we buy your stuff?
Currently, we have a merch store open on Big Cartel, so you can get, you know, preliminary merchandise there. All of our pirate stuff. We started off with the pirate stuff. I've been talking pirate shit for a really long time, so I thought perfect logo for our band, Skull and Crossbones, and they have a lot of cool merch up there, so you can check that out, and you can find that on our Facebook or on our Twitter. So as far as buying the record and stuff like that, again, we will be announcing you know, that kind of stuff shortly, and about all the logistics on that. So.
And any final words you'd like to say?
I just want to thank all of our fans for sticking around and supporting me, even though I went through some crazy shit. You know, there's been a lot of speculation about what the hell is going on with me. And all, you know, I'd say a majority of our fans just stuck around and supported me through it all and whatnot. And I think they won't be let down by this record. You know, this record is for them. You know, we're making this record for our fans that have stuck around and gave a shit. And, you know, I've always been very fan-oriented, and I hope this will prove to them that, you know, they stuck around for me, and I'm sticking around for them. So.